Jeffrey Dower Montgomery, 2984 Myra Street, apartment 4, Jacksonville, Florida, 32205. It's Wednesday, April 27th, 3:17 a.m. I got up and went into the kitchen. When I returned from the kitchen, I came into my bedroom, and just as I was turning off the light in my bedroom, I turned to look at what was on my computer screen, and a sound effect was sent off. So it was terrifying. It's this guy that stalks me, which he is threatening to. He's using that as something, I think, to slip it around with. That I've been prowling around in our apartment. My severely retarded wife, I think, has been bullied into insisting on keeping dim lighting off in the kitchen, and I think it's something that's been used to uh, slip it around that I have went into the kitchen and was stopped by police and paramedics and forced into keeping it dark in the kitchen, and then I've been prowling around in the dark and going over to the living room window. So or scouting around. There was an occasion when I came up when I was sleeping where my severely retarded wife is sleeping now in the living room near two great big windows. I had come up off of the floor, so I had a futon in there, and turned to look out the living room windows and discovered 5 police patrol cars. So I don't know who he is, but I think he is attempting to slip it off that I've done something that people are slipped in on and extracted and taken and hidden away somewhere. Something a judge did in a courtroom. A judge, something ridiculous was striked up and used to play a part that I had done something to have a right to place me under arrest, and then things were done with me in jail. It was acted like I did something crazy people do, and they stuck me up on the 6th floor in a glassed-in cell. So yes, I do think these high job BM cops and BM paramedics have been lying to the public that I have been prowling around in the dark in our apartment, and have went over and looked through the window, or have shown indications of considering putting myself on my severely retarded wife while she's sleeping, or have slipped up behind her, or have done something like that. So now some cop came up on me a couple days ago and just flipped out. Just It's like he made it look like I was trying to strike something up with him while he was in his patrol car. He got out of it and came over to me and had his hand, I think, over near his pistol. So, like I did something, clicked into something psycho-like with him. Or using signs I have to as something to persuade on myself that something's happened that hasn't happened, or it's causing me to get buggy, or paranoid. Since that's taken place, I wouldn't have been able to keep up with how many times someone's with the fire department or police department has put a fix on me. A lot of fixes on me when I went to adult websites that I have been keeping the public in on at ICQ chat rooms. This is also following a long period of Zazen, where I was kind of vibrating while I'm sitting, kind of like a rocking from the length for sitting for a good while. I did not cause an injury to myself, and so I think it's something that's being attempted to consider as an indication of it, that I would it's something that's steering me into doing something, considering something criminal as making something criminal appealing to myself. Over something departurous, from something that would resemble someone being put through something torturous. So it was really not. I've been sitting for many years, and I have been postponing my sitting, so I decided to sit for a good bit, which is, I think it's considered as something that's actually good for you. It improves circulation and it's something that's not really, if we're to an experienced meditator, it's not really anything, it's just something that it's known as beneficial, or that to catch up, something to catch up with on over not sitting for a good while, or over putting off sitting. So I don't know who this guy is. He just, it was just terrifying. I don't know how many years he spent coming back to doing something like that, and I'm as scared as hell. You know, he's going to slip in here. It was like so this cop that came up on me a few days ago that had his hand on his pistol. I think he was suggesting that I've done something in here, that you have a right to go in on somebody with a firearm. So it's an abduction attempt, and or I'm getting myself all hornied up. Which oftentimes my severely retarded wife has been in sexual positions, and it's so funny. We get groceries in here and something like that starts to take place. I don't know how many times that's happened, and I do think that I have made some YouTubes over that. I do think there may have been somebody slipping into our apartment at night. Maybe the people that lived next door, or some, because I could swear I heard an attic opening that sounded like it came from the apartment next door. So, So today, it had been quiet for a good while. Right when my cat went to use a litter box, someone sent a sound effect off. I don't know how many times someone sent one of those things off when I needed to relieve myself or went to the bathroom. It's just terrifying here. I want to leave this state. I just fly into making ridiculous stretches here. And anybody that makes ridiculous stretches would probably be capable of an abduction. I think this cop that arrested me over on Roosevelt Boulevard here, I think he was considering taking me somewhere because of how ridiculous it was to consider what I said as something that would be good enough to have a right to place me under arrest. After shaking me up like that, treating me as degradingly as I was treated, it's like a treatment like he was, I was like the way you would be with an animal, a dog, just this cop this cop a couple days ago, 828, I think, was on his patrol car, treated me like a little boy, like he would do with someone that it's been confirmed is slips into a childlike state. They're trying to abduct me here. That's something that people are extracted and hidden away somewhere over. He had come out from a street where there's a facility where demented people are kept, a house that's been fenced in. I called Channel 47, I called Channel 4, and I called the Florida Times-Union. And I was pleading with them to please find him, find who he is, find out who he is. And I think he's one of these guys that raped my severely retarded son on several occasions. or has slipped in here and screwed my severely retarded wife at night. I think that's one of the reasons she's been striking those positions in the living room. I think there's been many occasions someone has slipped into this apartment when I've been asleep and has screwed her, and is using something engaging or suspenseful, keeping our apartment dark at night, as something to conceal that with. Something to scare the public with. Jeffrey Dower Montgomery, Hyatt Repeat POW, 2984 Myra Street, Apartment 4, Jacksonville, Florida, 32205. Mitt Romney, U.S. Customs, United Nations. It's just beyond belief what's the way I've been kept. Being kept like this in the United States. If you're watching this video, tell everyone you know. You know, contact me. I've given my address.